let's go ahead and look at our chapter 5. Okay, so chapter 5 is called Laughter is the Best Medicine. All right, do one of you take medicine? What do you take medicine for? When you have a pain or something is not right with your body. But you know what? We do not necessarily need to take chemicals for our medicine. We can use laughter as a way to make us feel better. All right, so this is a natural way for you to feel better. It's not a chemical way for you to feel better. So sometimes if you have a chemical way, it helps. Sometimes people have to get surgery, cut you open and change your body around or put your bones back together, and that's the only way you can get fixed. But many times we can become healthier if we pay attention to our emotions and how we're feeling. And when we laugh, it has many, many benefits. So in this chapter, we're going to talk about the different benefits, and actually we're going to examine what laughter is. Because, you know, everybody laughs, right? We all laugh. But do you ever think about what laughter means? Or how laughter occurs? Or what happens in your body when you laugh? Or what happens between people? Maybe you don't think about it. You just laugh because something's funny. So we're going to examine some different aspects of laughter. We're going to examine the psychology and sociology and medicine aspects of laughter, all of those different points. So our academic focus is on science and social science with these subtopics of, repeat after me, psychology, sociology, and medicine. Okay, do you see a picture of a couple of people in a what kind of a place? Where are they? Maybe they're in a hospital, or maybe they're in a living room? Okay, now what makes you think they're in the hospital? What gives you idea that they're in the hospital? The woman is wearing a white lab coat, And typically, people who are researchers and they work in a lab, or medical doctors who work with different chemicals and fluids and blood and things like that come out of the body, they typically wear a lab coat to protect their clothes. For example, my daughter is a chemical engineer, so when she was in school at university, when she was taking her chemistry classes, then they have to do chemical experiments with different chemicals. So the students all had to wear a white lab coat to protect their clothing. And doctors frequently wear a lab coat to protect themselves from chemicals and other bodily fluids that they could come into contact with. So it looks like she might be a doctor. How about the man? Does he look like a doctor? Does he look like a patient? Okay, what makes him look like a patient? What's he wearing? He's wearing pajamas, and a bathrobe. He looks like he's wearing pajamas and a bathrobe. A bathrobe is like a jacket that you wear after you take a bath. It's a robe, something that's loose-fitting, not tight-fitting, that you can wear over your pajamas. It's nice and comfortable, something you wear inside the house. So it looks like he is the patient, and does it look like they're talking seriously, or they're playing, or what does it look like? Looks like they're playing? Okay. What gives you the idea that they're playing and not talking seriously? Okay. Look at where she's holding her hands. Where is the lady holding her hands? Where's the doctor putting her hand? On her head. And where does her face show? What does her face show? A smile? Laughter? Okay, so when do we usually do this? Can you do that for me? Show me. Show me. Go like this. Take your hand and go. When do we do that? When something is funny, or maybe something funny just happened. Okay? So maybe something just happened. And what do you think they're looking at? They're looking at, what are they holding? Yes, okay, some of you know that they're probably playing a video game. Do you see what they're holding in their hands? What have they got there? A controller, right? A game controller. How many of you play video games? Any of you use a game controller? Raise your hand. Come on, let me see. How many of you hold all right, so those of you who hold a video controller, you know what this is. And the rest of you going, games? I don't play games. I only study books. I'm very serious. I don't play games. But you've seen other people play games, maybe, right? Okay, so it looks like they're playing a game. And what happens when you play a game? How do you feel when you're playing a game? Excited, yeah, you feel excited, right? And then sometimes you bong, 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 bing, 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 bong, and then you get a win, and you make some points, or you eliminate your opponent, and then, or maybe somebody kills you, and you kill them back, and you fight back and forth, and you jump up higher and higher. So a game is usually very exciting, and then it causes people to do what? It entertains people, right? Sure, it entertains people, and it makes them laugh, right? Okay, so if you are a patient, then you're a patient because what? Because you're sick. Okay, so if you're sick, how do you feel? Tired, aching, pains, depressed maybe, not feeling so good. So, jump around for me. Jump around. Jump. Everybody jump up there. Raise your hands. I don't know what's wrong with our lights. We're not on the sleep chapter now. We're on laughter, okay? So you don't have to turn off the lights. Please, light God. All right, so thank you. So we have games so we can entertain ourselves, and playing games and creating an atmosphere where we can feel happy and feel a reason to laugh is good to lift our spirits, right? Did we learn about music doing that in chapter 1? We heard about music. What is one of the things that music can make people do? They can entertain people, and they can make people heal, yes, and lift people's spirits and make you feel relaxed. And right, okay, so those are some things that are good for our health. And so when we feel that way, we can feel more relaxed. And when we play games, sometimes it makes us feel excited, but it can also make us feel happy to play. And it might feel like fun and make us feel like laughing. So in our academic listening and speaking objectives in this chapter, you will hear a lecture that an instructor gives about laughter. And you'll pronounce academic vocabulary and discuss topics related to laughter, physiology, psychology, and health. And you will participate in listening, speaking, and thinking activities. Okay, in particular, you will develop vocabulary and expressions related to laughter. Now, this word is this word is kind of funny by itself because L-A-U-G-H. Now, usually when we look at the letters A-U, we say the sound all. But in this word, the U is silent. We just say as in cat, and la, and then the GH, the GH, sometimes in English we don't pronounce the GH at all. For example, in the number 8, we spell E-I-G-H-T. We don't pronounce the GH. But sometimes the GH we pronounce as F, like F. For example, tough and rough and enough. And here, laugh. All right, so the verb is to laugh. And the noun is laughter. 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 Okay, so you'll develop vocabulary and expressions related to laughter. You'll use a dictionary to learn the pronunciation of academic words. You'll hear, identify, and pronounce key vocabulary with proper syllables and stress. You'll predict the content of a lecture. Do you know predict? Predict means to use the information that you already have in your mind to tell something before you hear it. So pre means before, and dict means words. So before you hear the lecture, you will be able to say what you think might come in the lecture. You will identify and use transitions for introducing a paraphrase or an explanation. Now, in our other chapter, our previous chapter, we learned about some transitions that were related to numbers. We learned about first and second or next. Remember those transitions? Okay, so in this chapter, we're going to continue learning about transitions, and this time we're going to concentrate on the transitions, in other words, and that is, and I mean. Okay, we're going to concentrate on hearing these three and understanding how the information in the lecture is connected together. And you also practice connecting some information when you speak by using, in other words, that is, and I mean. You'll recognize the relationship between main ideas and examples. Now, we studied that in our previous chapter, and we're going to have more practice with our lecture in Chapter 5. You'll understand and use tag questions with falling intonation. So a tag question is a question like this. You just took a test on Chapter 4, didn't you? That's an example of a tag question. I said the statement first, and then at the end I put a tag. You just finished a test on Chapter 4, didn't you? That's a tag question. All right, so we're going to learn about tag questions and learn to hear the sound of it. Now, maybe in your grammar class, you already know, from your grammar classes, you already know about this grammar structure. But don't worry, if you don't, I have a power grammar section for you in this chapter, which will teach you about that. And then we'll also practice the intonation. You will watch a comedy. Yes, you like a comedy? What's a comedy? You know comedy? Yes. What is a comedy? Something funny, right? A funny story, a funny movie, funny TV show. All right, that's a comedy. So I will show you a comedy, and then we will identify some humorous elements. What does humorous mean? Humorous. Humorous means funny. Right, very funny. You know the word funny, right? Funny has more than one meaning. Funny can mean it can mean the same as the word humorous. If something is humorous, it makes you laugh. Right. If it's humorous to you, it makes you laugh. The word funny is also humorous, but sometimes funny can mean a different thing. It can mean strange. All right, what else? You'll present a report on comedy, and you'll relate the contents of the lecture about laughter to the laughter in your own life. So we always like to think of what are we learning from the lecture, and how can we relate that information to our own personal lives. Finally, you'll take dictation, right? Because you always like to learn dictation. Dictation of sentences related to laughter. Because as you know, dictation is helpful for you in vocabulary and grammar and listening and spelling and capitalization and punctuation and all that kind of good stuff. Okay? So that's what we're concentrating on in this lesson. Please look at part 1, beginning on page 168. 168.